Good public transport is not only about saving the environment, it also affects lifestyles. Juliet Solomon from London Metropolitan University has been researching the connection between transport and social exclusion for many years.
You asked me what social exclusion was. Well, basically this is about the fact that life is not fair. It's a new label. It's not quite an old ailment. The government's defined social exclusion as what happens when people or areas suffer from a combination of excluding things like no employment, poor health, low skills, and all that kind of thing. Academically, it's been described as lacking the resources to obtain the type of diet, participate in the activities, and having the living conditions customary or at least acceptable in the society in which you find yourself. Now, in terms of transport, there are four main types. We classify them. Firstly, spatial exclusion, when you can't get to the location you want to get to. Temporal exclusion, when you can't get there at the right time. If you work on an early morning shift and there's no transport, you're excluded. If you're a kid and you want to get home from a late night party and there isn't any, you are excluded from your society. So there are lots and lots of ways of that. Financial is when actually you have to give up something like food in order to pay your fares or your petrol, whatever it is. And then finally, personal exclusion. We're all familiar with disabilities of one sort or another, or challenges as they're now called. If you've got physical disabilities and you actually find mobility difficult, or if you've got mental disabilities and you can't understand a timetable, you can't understand a bus route, you can't sort out money and pay your fare, and there are lots of people who fall into this category, you will be transport excluded.
Hello. Over the past 4 years, the ANSU research project has been developing a better understanding and ways of creating a more inclusive journey environment. The A in ANSU stands for accessibility, together with user needs in transport, our aunt or auntie. So we have been looking at how the design and planning of the urban environment can be more socially inclusive in order to benefit more people and encourage more public transport usage. The project has brought together a team of researchers from different backgrounds drawn from research centres at London Metropolitan, University College London and Loughborough universities in order to combine their expertise in transport, urban and inclusive design. Our main focus is on the whole journey environment, the journey from origin to destination, as well as spaces and facilities in between. In making our travel decisions, we do not differentiate between the elements of the journey, but on the whole journey, where any weak link can ruin the whole trip.
Just passing a ticket barrier is a problem for many people, not to mention boarding a train. Others have difficulties coping with crowds in the station, especially if they carry a bag or guard a child.
The main tool we are developing at Loughborough is Hadrian. Hadrian is essentially a collection of data about 102 individual people, including 59 disabled people. Hadrian describes each person in terms of their physical size, reach and joint constraints, their use of public transport and urban infrastructure, and their capability to perform everyday tasks. One output of Hadrian will simply be a database including all this information that will be a useful resource for designers and planners, enabling them to learn about the types of problems that a wide range of people have in their everyday lives. Another output will be the Hadrian Human Modelling System, which is based on the long-established SAMI computer-aided ergonomics software. Using this system, practitioners will be able to carry out virtual user trials for any physical interaction points, for example, a ticket machine or a lift. Using Hadrian to assess interactions has the benefit of being based on a diverse range of real people with whom the practitioner has some empathy, rather than using national population data. We are also developing a journey stress calculator. This will model the stress resulting from the practical, environmental and emotional demands of a whole journey and predict the unique responses of each of the people in Hadrian. With the journey stress calculator, we aim to improve understanding of why people are socially excluded from travel and provide a new way to compare the accessibility of different journey options.
Users do not only encounter problems within but also outside the station. The question to ask is, what would Aunt Sue see if she would leave the station? Aunt Sue has gathered evidence about problems users may encounter on their way to the station, using data from previous studies and government guidelines, user trials, surveys, and so-called map walk sessions. It becomes clear that many people are choosing a more acceptable route over the shortest route available, hence spend more time on the journey. The more time they spend on their journey, the less time they have for other activities, such as a job, or getting a degree, or just seeing their friends. A young woman called Laura is happy to talk to the camera about some of the most obvious barriers she encountered on her way to the bus stop.
In this particular area, I definitely would feel very isolated with this massive gate on one side and just like a construction site on the other. I wouldn't feel that anyone would be able to help me if I was in need, if like something happened. And it's very, very quiet. So that's not nice. I wouldn't cycle down it if I had to. I'd go down the main roads, because I would definitely, this is an easy place to be a target and just get mugged or whatever, and it's just bricks and wall and like thingies and fences. And the playground, cement, and surely it's not where kids play.
We have learned so far that Hadrian helps to inform the design of inclusive vehicles and stations. In the following clip, we will learn about how Aunt Sue is supporting the delivery of inclusive interchanges and public spaces.